Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletta here with Samantha Perry. Of course, Brian Natter will be joining us throughout the afternoon, and you can just see how the sultry scene shows you right now at Gulfstream Park. It's a hot day, but we got a fast main track. We are on the turf. The turf is firm.
Yep, it is. It's a toasty one today, but a good one nonetheless for 10 races.
Yeah, we got the $150,000 guarantee, not guarantee, what they call it, estimate in the Rainbow Six Day. You see 150,000. Hey, they bet it good yesterday.
They did.
And there was a horse alive in the last leg, the number 2 horse, and didn't look that bad, didn't run that well, but yeah. Hey, that's it. You got to be in it to win it.
You do.
So we'll see how that plays out. That's a little later on. And what a great way to start the day. We're going to start it off on the turf, going a mile for maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up. We have some scratches in here of the 2, the 4, and the 13, and we're going to start it off with Brian's early pick 5 ticket.
Yeah, we are, and not a whole lot of scratches on the card, but a $48 play for Brian. He's spreading in the early legs. You see his anchor there in race number 5, and if I can get to race 5, we'll see who it is. That is Spetro for Victor Barboza. I believe that was his best bet yesterday at Victor Barboza horse, and he got it home, and today I would presume this is also his. Possibly.
Yep. So we got lots of coverage going down to that. It's the old reverse pyramid, so we'll see how that plays out in here. And I'm interested to see how you started this off in here today.
Well, I lost my top pick in my long shot, and that was the 2 in this spot. So I scratch into the 11 here. Some of it for Lisa Lewis. It gets back to the grass, and arguably her best effort, I believe, was on the grass.
Yeah, I always had the 11 on top for all the reasons you just mentioned, and I just thought this horse ran well on the grass, came back, and had a good performance on the Tapeta. Yeah. And Lisa does a great job. She doesn't have many horses. She went up to Saratoga the other day and finished second.
Yeah.
I bet the horse to win, of course, but that's a story for another day. So the 11 on top. I know you have we have a stat. Well, we're going to talk about the number 1 next. We'll talk about Eliana because we got a stat on that horse, and this one is from the Amador Sanchez barn, and horse ran 2 times, once on the dirt and once on the Tapeta. Here is that stat. It's 4 for 29.
Yeah, that's not too bad for this barn here. It's a nice in the money percentage too. So you like to say it a lot, Ron. We've got tries, we've got supers, we've got it all here. He connects with these horses, especially underneath and at least just in the money.
Yeah, the horse was in Delmar, comes back, his favorite here, albeit on the Tapeta, but runs good. I think it's a logical one. You did have the number 3 horse on your ticket, 2 and second, and that is Rose View. I also lost the 2 and 4. I had him right behind the 11. So
yeah, this horse here, I might be just stretching a little bit here, but I like the fact that Misael Hermio gets aboard, and this is just a lateral move from the last effort. First time going 2 turns, last out. Now I'm probably a little more fit.
You know, we got a replay on the number 8 horse in here, Mobe Princess, and I believe it's 2 starts back when this horse was on the turf and ran exceptionally well that day. And, you know, I sort of missed this horse in the beginning and bumped this horse up when I lost the 2 and 4. And I went back for this race and looked at it, and I thought it was a pretty good race.
It was, and I thought the same thing because I didn't have her anywhere. Right. And then I saw this, and I was shocked at just how remembering how well she ran. Now, that was an interesting race because the winner, you see, was a huge upset. So I don't think it was the strongest race, but hey, neither is this one.
Yeah, no, so definitely go back and give a second look at that horse sitting up there. I think second choice right now. And I ended up bumping it up to 3rd, but I have to be truthful. I did not have it. I had it back and forth. So we'll see how it plays out. Let's go to race number 2, and this one's going to be on the Tapeta. We're going to sprint at 5 furlongs, and it's, you know, an interesting race. It's for 2-year-olds, which always makes it interesting.
Yeah.
2-year-old fillies, and we do have a scratch in here of the number 2, and that is Swift Battle, and a jockey on the number 7. Make that rider Carlos Lugo, and Brian has an early pick 4 ticket. So let's see what he did with the early pick 4.
It's probably just a run back if I had to guess. He'll tweet it out.
Yeah. Oh, he'll tweet it? No, there it is.
Oh, $12. Okay, there you go. It is. It's just an exact run
Yeah,
back.
he's got that 4. That's his key on the day, and I agree with him with that horse in here. Now, how did you start this race off?
The same way you did, the 3, 1 more silver dollar. This horse has been entered. She's been entered 2 different times, 3 different times here for the Walensky's, and one of them was when we were canceled due to the rain, and then anyway, long story short, she's back here. She's been training well. I saw a couple works from her at Keeneland. And this is, I think, honestly, her race to lose.
Yeah, she's worked well on the Tapeta,
Yep.
and she's worked well on the dirt. So she looks like she's versatile, as you mentioned. She worked well at Keeneland, too. So, you would think this horse is ready to go. I'm in total agreement with you. What about the number 8 horse in here, Leprechauna? Leprechauna, first time started from Bobby DeBona.
No works on this filly by St. Patrick's Day. This is a barn that it does very well claiming horses. He does well with a lot of things. First-time starters, not the strongest. Doesn't have the best stats with.
Yeah.
But this is a field where I think she could probably handle it.
And, the number 1 horse in here, Pretty Shy, you have a third, I have a second. Very nice social inclusion. You're getting Joe Orsino, and you're getting my buddy Joe Mbisi from up in Pennsylvania is the owner breeder of this horse. Got to deal with the rail. There's not much that you know about these horses. Beyond the 3 where you can sort of figure stuff out, the rest you got to sort of...
It's a guessing game.
Yeah, it's a guessing game because it's 2-year-old first-time starters. But you know what? We tell you this every time, watch the board. That's the best way to do it. Kicks off the early pick 4, so make sure you do some board watching there. Going to the main track today for race number 3, and it's going to be at 7 furlongs. And if you're just joining us, the main track is fast. And I talked to you about this race a little bit yesterday. This was the head scratcher for me. I could not figure this horse out. Let's start with your number 8, Kiki Love. Probably a logical contender in here.
Yeah, I think so. This is, like you said, just a tricky tricky race in general. But this filly is coming out of a race. Sophia Storm is a really nice horse. And I think that this was a tough race. Now she's in for this 62.50 level. This seems like a spot that she hasn't seen in a long time, and she should be able to handle.
Yeah, I got her on a ticket. I went the horse you have in second on top, and that is the number 3, Trotting Gear. And it's Amador Sanchez, and, just been doing so well. Lately, his barn has really picked up, and this one gets a, class relief. And it was as simple as that. Ran at 7 furlongs and didn't run badly the last time. Hector Berrios, who had a really good championship meet out in Santa Anita, is in town for a while till, I guess, Del Mar opens.
Yeah, next Saturday,
So, next Saturday?
Yeah,
wow.
I know.
See that? I don't know any of that stuff. She knows everything. She helps us out constantly. She's aware of everything and everyone. Race.
That's you.
Race 4, we're going to go back on the turf. That's always a good thing. And it's the maiden claimers, and these are 3-year-olds and upward. We did have a scratch in here of the number 5, First Shot Fired, and this is where the tropical turf pick 3 starts.
Yeah, it does. And very good bet to play. It's a $3 minimum, 15% takeout. Always a good thing to get involved in. I'm singling here, and we'll get into it. Race number 8, just too deep for me. I lost my top pick out of that, so I do scratch into the 8. That is Pocky. And race number 10. Oh, what a tricky one. Do you have a long shot in race 10?
I do have a long shot.
All right.
And it is the number 8 horse.
All right, I don't have it, so there you go.
It's a David Fawkes guesser.
Hey, that's my 4th pick, actually. That was the last one I left off. So there you see it. It's an $18 play. Maybe if you want to add in Ron's long shot in the finale, that's the 8. It's a tricky race.
I thought my long shot was going to win that last one
it
yesterday.
Was
we were
close.
cheering at home.
Yeah.
I didn't get there.
So
that's the story for later on. So we both like you singled right here, the number 2, Sir Mendel. And I think we have a video we want to show, or replay, I should say, on the number 2 horse near Sir Mendel from Imaginary Stable.
Yeah, and First Shot Fired, of course, this horse is out of this race. But just watch Sir Mendel here. The rails were out at 66 feet this day. Very 3 wide move, but on the rail setting like this, it's even more ground loss when you look back at it. Now, Modica won the race. That was a horse for trainer George Weaver. This is a horse that should win this race. This was a huge effort.
And just adding to that, a couple of horses came out of that next race, and one from 7 starters. One you could still see on your past performances, Whitingfield, and there was another winner. So not only runs an exceptional race, comes out of a pretty good race that's, like we said, produced a couple of next out winners. Then you went to the number 3 horse in here, No Plebulum. It's supposed to be no problem, but they're playing with the words there.
This horse has gotten close, especially on the grass. The last start on the grass was a really good one. Now, was that race an exception, or I don't know, because that race came out of nowhere. But if he runs that race back, he should be right there.
Yeah, no, that was a good thing. Got beat 3 parts of a length in there.
Yeah.
I did go to the one that you have a little further down on your ticket with the Blue Spearman. And this one on the drop for Safi Joseph Jr., Edgar Zayas. It seems if you see that, you have to sort of look. But we have a stat we want to show you on this number 1 Blue Spearman.
Yeah, this is with second-time starters for Safi Joseph. Maiden special weight to maiden claiming, 25%. Now, this is just on the grass. It's a pretty good sample, actually, for a 30% trainer.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. You know what I mean? You don't get a lot of chances to do maidens, on the turf because of the situation.
Right.
We weren't on the turf for a while, so very good with the last year. Actually, we weren't on the turf while it was being redone, so you might not see 100 starters, but it's definitely a good stat.
Good, yep.
Yeah. What about the number 6 Noble Tiger that you had in third in here?
This is like maybe somebody has to be third. This horse used to have some speed, and now he's kind of lost it a little bit. Could today be his today? Probably not in the winner's circle, but maybe underneath.
Love that. You know, try supers. That's where you make the money in here. So we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow 6 ticket.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access past performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Whoa. Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Sorry, they're making us laugh here. And before we come on the air, it's a mile 70 odds, and it's claimers and their 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 2 races. Wait, my page just flipped. Never won 3 races. Scratch the 6th. Leopold in here. And it is Rainbow 6 time, and we're going to look at my $43.20 ticket in here. Right. And we'll talk about this race in a couple of moments. Got a big favorite in that horse that Brian liked. In race number 6, 3 deep for me, my top pick is the 9, Vanishing Wish. Race number 7, 3 deep once again. I did go with the number 4, Beach Ready, who I think people might be singling in there. Race number 8, I got the 9, Anatomy on top. Race, that's my single. I like the Barn Change, Doc Amster. This horse has been around forever, and at 12.5 level, hits this one right in the eye. We mentioned my long shot being the number 8, my Royal Val, but I used a bunch of horses. Almost made the 10, Lucky Girl Coco, my long shot, who's 20-1. So I'm hoping I can get some prices as we get through the afternoon and get to that race number 10. Getting back to this race, we got we'll talk with Spectro first. That Brian Singer looks like the one to beat in here.
Yeah, most definitely. It's Victor Barboza. This horse has speed. He's one that's eligible to just run away from the field here. That's his only path to victory, is a need the lead type. And 0 for 3 on the Tapeta, but 100% in the money with it.
Yeah, and I want to see the replay on, Captain Anthony and Arepa Star and Mufrin to see what you see that you put the horse in second.
Okay, so this is a race that I wanted to show because I kind of wanted to stay away from this race a little bit. I felt like Captain Anthony is a bit just completely over the top, and I think that they'll bet this horse now. Switches back to the Danny Hurtak barn. The rest of these horses move free, and they just picked up some pieces late, and they weren't really anything to write home about.
Yeah, just the top 2 horses in that race absolutely ran in there, So, I did the same thing. I sort of backed off on those horses for that reason. Did go with the number 9, Shake Your Bones from Elizabeth Doble's barn. Talking about a barn that's woken up a little bit. This one comes off a really 2 lifetime score, going a mile 70 yards into Peter. But as you know, the biggest jump up when you go to 2, now what is it 2 to now was it 3?
Yeah, it can be really tricky. And I know that there was a winner out of that race at Belly of Jelly the next time. That was the finale of the Rainbow 6 mandatory we had last time. But that was I didn't like that race at all.
Well, that's good. So you had it further down, and looks like we all like the 4 here for some reason.
Yeah.
So we're going to flip the page, and we're going to go to race number 6. It's 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. These are maiden claimers, fillies and mares, 3 and up. And we scratched the 13 and 14. And the number 3 horse, Barbaresco Baby, is going to run with no rear shoes. So before we look at your late pick 5 ticket, what does that mean?
So
I mean, I know it means no rear shoes. That part I know.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice, and it's even more so interesting. In the U.S., you don't see that as much.
Right.
Overseas, you do a lot, but usually it's no front shoes, not no hind. So there's a lot of things that can go into that. I think it helps them, especially in the hind end, because it gives them something to push off of.
Right.
But
yeah, maybe the Huffs, can't. I don't know. I just wanted to ask you about that. Now we'll look at your late pick 5 ticket.
I do have the 3 on top in this race, so the no hind shoes horse. So we'll get into it. It's a $54 play. This is a tricky sequence, and like Ron's Rainbow 6, there could be some singles coming to the last race, I think, and. I didn't have a single for mine. Race 7, I do have the number 3 on top. That is Pacific Princess. I do have Beach Ready in there, but that's an interesting race. Race 8, a tricky one. I do have the 8 on top. I do scratch into the 8. That is Pocky. Race 9, the 6 on top for me. That is Doc Amster. I'm also using the 2, Ron, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that race as well. And then in the finale, I do have the 5 on top. That is Eam's Treasure Girl. I scratch into that horse, though.
Gerald Bennett is the trainer and does an excellent job. So we'll see how that plays out. I think that you got a chance. I was mentioning Beach Ready. If there's a place that, you need another single, maybe that's a horse you do. But we're going to talk about that as we get to it. But let's get back to this 6th race. And you said you had it on the 3 on top of your ticket.
I do. This filly's coming back a bit quick, which I'm not a huge fan of, but just strike while the iron's hot here. She ran deceivingly well. I thought that Skylar Spanabel put a really good ride on her last time. You see her odds. She's a stretch here, but she ran well, and I think that she can just improve off of that.
I'm looking at the board here. We're not too much in agreement here, which I always like, because I like to listen to what you got and, what I might have in here. I went with Vanishing Wish. I just look at Ruben Sierra. He's been winning races at a 20% clip, and I just thought this horse, stretching out. Well, not stretching out. It had turned back and ran 5 furlongs on the Tapeta and ran exceptionally well. Was the favorite that day. I'm going to come back to this barn because they've just been running so well, and I think the horse, you just look on paper, fits. This is what this horse is supposed to be doing, sprinting on the Tapeta at this level.
Yeah, it was a big effort too, because she also drew the rail, and that's hard going from 2 turns right to the 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. That's a big wake-up call, and she still showed some speed. So she's going to be tough. I think I kind of missed her a little bit in hindsight.
That happens.
It does.
And the number 10 horse in here, She's So Sexy. You just look down and see Safi Joseph Jr., Edgar Zeiss. If you didn't know it, you learned last week that you have to look at this T-Barn. They had a fantastic week, and they're continuing it this week. So I just thought it logical with the drop from 25 to 12.5.
It is a big drop here, and the blinkers go on, and she's trying the Tapeta for the first time.
And the number 4, White Claw Woman, the Irish bred in here, maybe has a little bit of a chance. We both have it in 3rd. Maybe you get a try and super with this horse.
Yeah, I think so. She's going to improve too, because her first start was a decent enough 3rd place finish. She should move up.
And it's 25, and this is 12.5.
Exactly.
So handicapping 101, you would think it fits in here, right?
Would, yeah.
We'll go to race number 7 this afternoon. A mile, 70 yards on the Tapeta. It's a starter. Optional claimers for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up with no scratches or jockey changes. Brian's late pick 4 starts in this particular race, so let's check it out.
Yeah, let's see what it is. $6. Every time I think that the late pick 5 is tough, I see his pick 4, and it's like $4. I'm like, well, maybe it wasn't that. I don't know.
Well, let's see. We'll talk about race 7 in a moment. Race number 8, what did he use? He used the 3 and 8. He used Parky, your horse, and David's Rose in there.
Yep, he does. And then he singles Doc Amster, which, like you said, that's your single. Yeah. And then the finale, Musical Romance in House of Melody.
They are really the two horses to beat in the nightcap.
They
They really are on paper and everything. Both you and I are looking to get a little bit of a price in there. But, this is one of those tickets. It's $6. You could certainly add a horse or two. So getting back to this race here, and that is race number 7, we have a video we want to show you with Pacific Princess, Beach Ready, and Worldly Beauty in here.
Yeah, gang is all here, and this is when Beach Ready won on June 6th. It was a huge effort. Pacific Princess is who is my top pick in this race here, and it's just a product of whose turn is it? There she is, just picking up some pieces late here. She's kind of tailing off a bit, but can Worldly Beauty and Beach Ready come back to win a race like that again?
Yeah, I saw, and the reason I picked a Beach Beauty, there's so much speed in here.
Yes.
And this horse I thought was going to sit the trip. And I just think, and logical horse in here, we're not giving out any great things, 7 to 5 in the morning line, the connections alone, but I just thought another trip like that, if it gets the perfect setup in front, if it was a rainy day, no, because the Peter will tighten up.
Right.
But today I think maybe it was. But, I could go. At Pacific Princess, your top pick, they're going to take the blinkers off. What do you make of that?
I like it because you could see from the replay, just from the white cup of the blinkers, she was wearing some huge, full cup blinkers. So this is awesome because she hasn't had them off in a long time. This could be a brand new mare here.
Yeah, she could say, what is going on?
Yeah, I can see. What is this?
I just wanted, Worldly Beauty, you saw the race.
Yeah.
That's how I threw it in second. But I think 3-4, maybe 4-3 is the way to go in there.
Yeah.
And Beach Ready, some people, as I mentioned, might be thinking of singling in there. Going to race number 8 is going to be 5 furlongs on the turf. It's an allowance optional claimer for fillies and mares 3-year-olds and upward. And we're going to scratch the 6 Damar's Legacy in here. And this is a good race, 5 furlongs on the turf. And you went with the number 8. Oh, that's right. You scratched into Porky. Now, Porky's the 8-5 morning line favorite. I had it in third.
Yeah, I didn't. I've had this horse lower down too. This is an interesting one because this filly is going to try the 5 furlongs on the turf. Now, she's only sprinted one time, and that was at the maiden special weight level on the Tapeta. It wasn't a good effort. But Saffie Joseph, he's sharp. And although I think that this filly might be a little better 2 turns, this is a crafty move here that I'm going to pay.
Well, both you and I worked in Maryland for the Preakness that week, and you look at 5 towns. I think that won the Dahlia that weekend. Yeah, so, I mean, the horse that came back and won again 5 towns. So that was not a bad race. There's some really classy horses in there. Yeah, I can understand that. And you mentioned Saffie and them being so sharp. He knows where to put his horses.
Right.
I used anatomy. There's going to break on the outside, and I'll tell you why. This one's going to just stretch out, coming out of the musical romance, and I just thought maybe this horse going on the turf could run well in here, has never really tried the turf before, so it's a little bit of a guess for me. Miguel Vasquez back. He was on a little vacation, we'll call it, for a few days, and he's riding like 8 or 9 of the 10 races today, so he's coming back gangbusters. And I just thought this horse, being the daughter of Liam's Map, has a chance to run well in here.
You know a little bit about being in timeout, don't you?
Yes.
I found a stat for Jose D'Angelo, which I found you're not going to like this.
You always do this to me.
I know, I'm sorry. First time turf, 7% for Jose D'Angelo.
Okay, so and who else do you have? I'm going to leave it up to you. Who else do you have on the ticket? We both have the 3. I got a saving grace there with David's Rose.
Yeah, well, let's show the replay. This is David's Rose and Mystica Travisa. Mystica Travisa is an interesting horse who's going to be the 7 in our race that I'm not a huge fan of. David's Rose ran a really big race this day, and I think she's the gray on the rail here. She's interesting because I think she's a little bit better on the Tapeta, but she does have a turf win. In a field like this, she was in really close quarters. You see Mystica Travisa coming on late. Mystica Travisa, I think, needs longer than this. I think she's going to run out of ground. But David's Rose, Powder Pop Racing, you got them home yesterday.
Yeah. So, and David's Rose, if you look at that race, I key off. A lot of races, you look at a certain horse and you key off. Drum Roll is one of those horses.
Yes.
Always runs well, and I just, so off that thing, I agree with you. That's why I put the horse in second like you did in there. The 9, well, I don't know. And let's hear about this real quick about the number 7. And we already talked about the 7 because change that. So that takes care of race number 8. We'll flip the page, go to race to number 9. We're going to be on a fast main track. 6.5 furlongs claimers for 3-year-olds and upward. And no scratches, no jockey changes. And boy, Doc Amster looks tough. We want to go back and show a video.
Yeah, let's look at it here. He definitely is the one to beat. And you hit the nail on the head. He's been around forever. He really has. And what a cool horse, too. Double Play King is also in this race, but Doc Amster just brings it to him. And there's no reason this horse can't jump up and just come right back. They dropped this horse for the 12.5 level. Jenna did last time. And this horse was claimed immediately by Victor Barboza. Double Play King just picked up some pieces late, but Doc Amster is the one to beat here.
Oh, and the barn is just 44% first off the claim, so that's their angle. And Doc Amster was good, then he was bad, then he was good again. He was stakes placed, and he's been around, and he's banked $253,000, a good 7-year-old. And I think they have him perfectly at 12.5 in this part of his career. So certainly the one to beat. Yeah. What about the number 2, Rare Jewel?
A horse that I think could benefit from maybe a quick pace up front. I don't think that they're going to leave some of these horses alone here. And I don't know if this is his correct distance, but this horse might be sneaky. He's coming out of a good race.
Yeah, that's a pretty good race. I did go with Holiday Fantasy. He's going to step up first off the claim by Javier Negrete. And, ran okay going a mile last time out, so they're going to turn this horse back, see how he runs in here. I just thought with the turn back, 12.5, maybe he fits in here.
Yeah, I agree. The turn back might be an interesting play. He might run out of room.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it runs out.
Yeah.
So last race today, 1 mile on the turf. Claimers, fillies 3-year-olds or fillies and bears 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 3. Scratch the 1 and the 2. And we'll start with the number 5 horse in here. You're sort of long shot in here at 5-1.
Yeah, maybe probably not as much now with the scratches, but this horse has speed. I like that about her. Gerald Bennett, he had a win with Jose Ferrer on Friday. That was 9-1. You light up my life on the dirt. There's no question of tactics here, but put the horse on the lead and let's see how far we can go.
And, we'll talk about the 8 right now, who's my long shot in here, My Royal Vow. And said, what do you see here? There's not much, this decent turf breeding, and the horse has tried the turf once, didn't run very well on it. But coming back at a proper level, had 2 really good races on the Tapeta. Bit of a clunker last time out, but here's the connections. David Forks, Miguel Vasquez. I'm looking for a price, I'd admit that, but this barn turns him around, and this is what happens. So if you're looking for a little bit of price, maybe you do something like that. But I think everybody's going to have their running shoes on to beat the 3 Musical Romance or the 4 House of Melody that we have a video about.
Yeah, let's show House of Melody because she was impressive last time. And it's hard. You made this comment earlier, Ron, from the non-winners of 2 level and then stepping up to that open. This is tough to do, but she did it really well here. She defeated her stablemate Bellwether, and just did it in a really gutsy way. She did all the hard work on the front end. She is the one to beat, but sometimes it's not as easy as just going with that race because she ran really hard to do it.
Yeah, we had the Musical Romance Stakes last week, was it? Or 2 weeks ago, and I wore the Musical Romance hat that Bill Kaplan gave me years ago, and everybody said I looked terrible in the hat. This is the British version, so I don't have to wear it today.
No.
Comes out of that really good race, produced a trio of next out winners from 6 starters. On paper, absolutely the one to beat.
Yeah, big time. But what do you get? This horse's chances have added up now, and you wonder where the win is.
Yep, so that is how we see the 10-race card in here. And I mentioned that 10 a little bit, just a lucky girl, Coco, that, maybe this horse can sneak up and grab a share. And, I think 20-1 on the line, and I'm just keying off, this horse reeled off back-to-back turf victories at Tampa. Is the horse that overmatched? We know this horse can run well on the turf, so you might want to throw in the try, the super, and all that good stuff. That's how we see it, but we're not done yet because we have the lightning round to show you.
We do, and we'll look back on yesterday. It was a big performance by Hall & Ice.
Hall & Ice, Hall & Ice I figured would move forward, but not like this. Really impressive.
Yeah, it was, and this horse ran well in the game face last time, and Muccia got a tricky ride, to say the least. It's not like I don't think anybody was going to beat Hall and Ice. Don't want to take anything away, but Muccia still ran really well, all things considered, with a little bit of an iffy ride.
Yeah, I think they got a perfect setup with our Harper Rose, going out there, certainly looked like it needed the race. So,
Definitely.
but, hey, you can't take it away. And, of course, we always had good stuff going on here at Gulfstream Park.
We do, and in 2 weeks, the tacos and tequila. If you can't find Ron with us on Saturday, July 27th, drag him out of the Flamingo Room and bring him back down to us, please. But get your tickets online. This is always a fun event. We do at least once a month.
I do a public service. I go up there and check to make sure the tacos taste well.
That's right, yeah. Make sure they're not poisoned.
You always want to make sure everything is good. Your best bet today?
My best bet is Sir Mindel today, yeah.
In race number 4, my best bet we talked about. In race number 9, it's the 6, Doc Amster. What's your long shot?
I lost my long shot. I was in the opener, yeah.
Oh, that's the 2 or the 4, right?
2.
Yeah. Mine is in the last my Royal Vow at 15-1. Tell you about that later on. I'm searching to try and get a price in there. Yeah. So that's how we see it. We're going to turn it over to the 1, the owner, Peter Aiello, with all the scratches, changes, and then we'll be back here for race number 1. And we'll go find that Brian. There's no tacos today, so we know Brian's got to be around somewhere.
Yeah, you would hope so.
Good luck, everyone.